Hey there, future civil servants. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating eras of Indian history. An age so brilliant, it's often called the Golden Age. That's right, we're talking about the Gupta Empire. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another dry history lesson. Not on my watch. We're going to make this journey through time engaging, memorable, and most importantly, super helpful for your EPSI prep. So grab your notes, get comfortable, and let's unravel the splendors of the Guptas together. First things first, how do we even know so much about this period? Well, historians are like detectives, and they've pieced together the story from a variety of sources. We have literary sources like the Puranas, which give us genealogies of the Gupta kings. Then there are plays and poems from literary giants like Kalidasa. Think of his work Abhijnana Sakuntalam. It's not just a beautiful love story. It's a window into the society of that time. We also have accounts from foreign travelers, which are pure gold. And of course, we have archaeology. Inscriptions like the Allahabad Pillar Inscription, or Prashasti, composed by Harishina, are like a royal CV for Samudragupta, detailing his conquests and character. And don't forget the coins. Gupta coins are stunning works of art, often depicting rulers in various poses, playing a veena, hunting lions, giving us a glimpse into their personalities and the prosperity of the era. Now, let's talk about the kings who built this empire. The story begins with Sri Gupta, the founder, followed by his son Gupta. But the real game changer was Chandragupta I. He took the title Maharajadhiraja, or King of Great Kings, signaling a major power shift. His marriage to Kumaradavi, a Lichavi princess, was a brilliant political move that boosted the empire's prestige and power. Then came the legend himself, Samudragupta. This guy was an absolute powerhouse. The Allahabad Pillar Inscription calls him the Napoleon of India. He was a military genius who conquered vast territories. But he was also a patron of arts and a poet, earning the title Kavi. Imagine a leader who could write poetry after a long day on the battlefield. Following him was his son, Chandragupta II. Famously known as Vikramaditya, his reign is often considered the peak of the Gupta Empire. He defeated the western Kshatripas, gaining control over the western seaports. This wasn't just a military victory. It opened up lucrative trade routes with the Roman Empire, flooding the Gupta treasury with wealth. His court was said to be adorned with the Navaratnas, or 9 gems, a group of the most brilliant minds of the time, including the legendary Kalidasa. It was during his rule that the famous Chinese pilgrim Fahin visited India. Speaking of Fahin, his account is invaluable. He traveled all over India for years, not as a political observer, but as a Buddhist pilgrim seeking scriptures. His diary, a record of Buddhist kingdoms, gives us a fascinating first-hand look at Gupta society. He describes a prosperous and peaceful land with light taxes and lenient punishments. He noted the caste system was rigid, but he was particularly impressed by the charitable institutions and the overall morality of the people. It's a snapshot of a well-administered and thriving civilization. So, how did the Guptas manage such a vast empire? Their administration was a masterclass in decentralized governance. The king was the central figure, assisted by a council of ministers. The empire was divided into provinces called Buktas, governed by these provinces were further divided into districts, or Vishyas, managed by Vish. The lowest unit of administration was the village, headed by a Gramika. It was a layered, efficient system that allowed for both central control and local autonomy. Unlike the Mauryas, the Guptas didn't micromanage everything. They understood the importance of letting local bodies handle their affairs, which contributed to the long-term stability of the empire. While the Guptas were the main act, there were other important dynasties on the scene. In the south, the Vakatakas were a major power. In fact, Chandragupta II's daughter, Prabhavati Gupta, married a Vakataka king, creating a crucial political alliance that secured his southern flank. Understanding these contemporary dynasties is key to getting the full political picture of the era. Let's zoom into the daily life, the society and culture. The society was structured around the traditional fourfold Varna system. While Fahin paints a rosy picture, it's important to remember that the system was rigid, and the condition of untouchables, or Chandalas, was quite harsh. The position of women was complex. They were generally respected and had access to education, as evidenced by scholarly women of the time. However, early marriages were common, and practices like sati were beginning to appear, though they were not widespread. Religion-wise, this was a period of Hindu revival. The Gupta kings were primarily Vaishnavas, patrons of Vishnu. This is when many Puranas were compiled, and idol worship in temples became a prominent feature of Hinduism. However, they were tolerant rulers, and Buddhism and Jainism also flourished under their patronage. What about the cities? The Gupta period saw the rise of many vibrant urban centers. Pataliputra was the grand capital, a bustling metropolis. Ujjain was another major city, the second capital under Chandragupta II, and a hub of trade and astronomy. Other important centers included Prayaga, the modern Allahabad, and Mathura, which was a great center for art, especially sculpture. These cities were not just administrative centers. They were melting pots of culture, commerce, and ideas. All this prosperity had to be funded, right? The economy was booming. Agriculture was the backbone, with the state collecting a land revenue tax, typically 1/6 of the produce, known as But what really set the Guptas apart was their thriving trade. Both internal and external trade flourished. They traded silk, spices, and precious stones with the Byzantine Empire in the west and with Southeast Asia in the east. The influx of gold from this trade is reflected in the sheer number and purity of their gold coins. The dinars, guilds of merchants and artisans, known as shrinis, played a crucial role in the urban economy, acting as banks, financing trade, and even minting their own seals. Now for my favorite part, science and technology. The Gupta era was a scientific renaissance. This is the age of Aryabhata, the genius who gave the world the concept of zero and calculated the value of pi with remarkable accuracy. He argued that the Earth rotates on its axis and revolves around the sun, and explained solar and lunar eclipses scientifically. Then there was Varahamihara, an encyclopedic mind who made significant contributions to astronomy, astrology, and mathematics. In metallurgy, the Iron Pillar of Delhi, near the Kutab Minor, stands as a testament to their skill. Over 1,600 years old, it is barely rusted, a feat that still baffles modern scientists. This wasn't just an age of art. It was an age of brilliant scientific inquiry and the literature. Oh, the literature was sublime. This was the golden age of Sanskrit literature. Kalidasa, the Shakespeare of India, wrote his immortal plays like Shakuntala and epic poems like Megha. We also have Sudraka's Marisa Kartika, or The Little Clay Cart, a play that gives a realistic portrayal of urban society. The Puranas and the epics, the Ramayana and Mahabharata, were given their final form during this period. It was an era of incredible creativity, where storytelling and poetry reached new heights. So, if everything was so golden, what happened? Well, like all great empires, the Guptas also declined. After the strong rule of Chandragupta, who successfully repelled the initial invasions of the Hanas, his successors were weaker. Internal feuds weakened the central authority. More importantly, repeated invasions by the Hanas from Central Asia drained the empire's resources and destabilized its northern frontiers. By the middle of the 6th century, the great Gupta Empire had fragmented into smaller kingdoms. The later Guptas of Magadha were one such dynasty, but they never achieved the glory of their imperial predecessors. The stage was now set for new powers, like Harshavardhana of Kanayuj, to rise. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the Gupta Empire, from their sources and rulers to their incredible achievements in science, art, and literature. It truly was a golden age. Remembering the key figures like Samudragupta and Chandragupta II, the account of Fahin and the contributions of Aryabhata will give you a solid foundation for your exams. It's a story of ambition, intellect, and beauty. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope you found this session insightful and, dare I say, enjoyable. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Keep studying hard, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video. All the best.